Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program.
That's right.
Our goal here, our mission with this deep dive, is really to give you a shortcut, help you understand the the most crucial updates happening in EB-5 right now. So you're properly informed, but, without getting totally swamped by all the details.
And these updates, they aren't just technicalities. They have real-world consequences, definitely for investors looking at the U.S., but also, importantly, for the U.S. economy itself.
Right.
It really shows how global money can, boost local communities.
Right.
Drive actual growth.
Okay, so let's break it down. We've got four big headlines we're going to unpack today.
Okay.
First up, there's this ongoing legal thing, IIUSA versus USCIS, and what it means for the EB-5 sustainment period.
Yes, that's a key one.
Second, some pretty amazing news, actually. A record high 94% approval rate for I-829 petitions.
That's huge, really positive.
Third, we'll dig into a new report. It shows EB-5 pumped, get this, $184 billion into the economy and created 1.7 million jobs just in 4 years.
Staggering numbers.
And finally, the September 2025 Visa Bulletin. It seems the fast track is staying open for Indian investors in those reserved categories.
Which is critical information for many.
Exactly. So stick with us. We think there are some surprising facts here, essential insights that will really help you connect the dots on EB-5 right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, first story. This legal battle, IIUSA versus USCIS, it's all about this thing called the sustainment period. Maybe just quickly remind us, what exactly is the sustainment period?
Sure. So it's the required length of time that an EB-5 investor's money has to stay invested, and importantly, at risk within the project they chose.
Got it. At risk.
Right. And the core of the fight is this.
Yeah.
The 2022 Reform and Integrity Act, the RIA, and it was meant to shorten that period down to just 2 years from when the money gets put into the project.
Okay, shorter period. Sounds good for investors.
Potentially, yes. But the issue was how USCIS rolled this out. They did it using informal FAQs on their website.
Not official regulation.
Exactly. No formal rulemaking process. So IIUSA, which represents many of the regional centers managing these EB-5 projects, they sued.
What were they asking for?
Basically, they wanted USCIS to follow the proper procedure, transparency, formal rules for such a big change.
Makes sense.
And the court, the D.C. District Court, ruled on July 29th, 2025. Now, the judge didn't actually say the period is X years.
Oh, so what did they decide?
What they did decide is crucial. The court ordered USCIS to start a formal notice of proposed rulemaking and NPRM this coming November.
November 2025.
Correct. And that process includes time for the public, for stakeholders to comment, which is precisely what IIUSA wanted, a proper regulatory process.
So, okay, until that whole NPRM thing wraps up, what's the situation on the ground for investors? It sounds a bit uncertain, like two different rules apply.
That's exactly right. We kind of have a dual system for now. If you invested before the RIA, the 2022 Act.
The pre-RIA folks.
Yes. You generally still need to keep your investment sustained until your conditional residency period ends. The old way, basically.
Okay. And the new investors.
But if you're a post-RIA investor, your requirement is just that 2-year period measured from when your money is actually put at risk by the project.
So much shorter.
Potentially much shorter, yes. Which leads to the key takeaway for you listening. While post-RIA investors seem to have more flexibility, there is still regulatory uncertainty until this rulemaking is final.
Right.
So my advice, first, double-check your status. Are you pre- or post-RIA? Second, keep an eye out for updates on this NPRM.
Stay tuned.
Definitely. And third, think about preparing comments for November. Maybe get help from an EB-5 lawyer to make sure your voice is heard effectively.
Good advice. Stepping back a bit, what does this court ruling tell us about maybe a bigger shift towards, transparency or clear rules in EB-5 generally?
I think it's significant. It really signals a push from the industry and maybe the courts for more predictability. Clear, established rules rather than just guidance documents or FAQs that can change. It feels like a push towards a more robust, accountable system.
Okay, accountability, predictability. That actually leads nicely into our next piece of news, which seems to point exactly in that direction.
The I-829 numbers.
Yes. Some really positive figures from USCIS for the first half of fiscal year 2025. These are about the I-829 petitions, and they're, kind of historic.
We really are quite impressive. We're talking about a 94% approval rate for I-829s.
94%. That's huge.
It is. And maybe just as important, the processing times have dropped significantly, down to just 8.2 months on average.
Wow, 8.2 months. That's the fastest it's been in ages, right?
Definitely the fastest in recent memory. And they're working through them to nearly 2,000 new filings came in, but they adjudicated over 2,500 in that same period.
So they're actually clearing the backlog.
Making real progress. When you put it all together, these numbers, they strongly suggest that EB-5 is becoming, well, safer and more predictable for investors.
Which means more security for their immigration goals.
Exactly. That's huge peace of mind if you're going through this process. And you mentioned the backlog. It's now under 7,000 pending I-829 cases. That shows real improvement in efficiency at USCIS.
That 94% number, though, it just jumps out. It's got to be a massive reassurance for anyone thinking about EB-5, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It suggests that if a project is set up correctly, if it follows the rules, then getting that final green card, the I-829 approval, it's almost guaranteed. Is that fair to say?
I think that's a reasonable takeaway. When projects are structured for compliance, when due diligence is done right, the success rate at the I-829 stage is incredibly high.
Can you give us an example, a project that kind of embodies this good structure?
Sure. A good current example might be Archer Place. It's a project down in Gainesville, Florida.
Okay.
It's specifically designed with compliance in mind from day one. It projects creating over 2,900 jobs, way more than the minimum needed.
Right, the job creation requirement.
Exactly. And it also has that TEA designation, Targeted Employment Area, which is important now. Projects like this really reflect a maturing of the EB-5 industry.
How so? Maturing?
Well, I mean, there's more careful vetting of projects now, better structuring right from the start, all aimed at ensuring investors meet the requirements for that final approval. And we're seeing the results in numbers like that, 94%.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift perspective now. We've talked about the investor side, the process side. Let's talk about the U.S. economy.
Right, the impact.
There's a new report out from Fourth Economy, I believe, and it highlights just how massive EB-5's economic footprint was. Specifically between 2016 and 2019, the numbers are, frankly, kind of mind-blowing.
They really are staggering. The report found that during just those 4 years, EB-5 brought in $75.2 billion in private investment.
Billion with a B.
That investment then helped create 1.7 million jobs across the country.
1.7 million, wow.
And it added $184 billion to the U.S. GDP. Plus, it generated about $14.5 billion in taxes.
And the kicker is?
The kicker is, all of this economic activity came at zero cost to U.S. taxpayers. It's foreign investment driving this.
That's a crucial point.
Absolutely. And another interesting detail, the jobs created. They paid an average salary of around $74,000.
That's pretty good.
It's nearly 50% higher than the national average for private sector jobs at the time. So quality jobs, too.
The report mentioned Florida was a big beneficiary, right?
Yeah.
Using EB-5 for real estate, hotels, even student housing.
Yes, Florida has seen significant benefit along with several other states. It funds a really diverse range of projects that might not get funded otherwise.
So when you look at these huge economic numbers, how does that change the way we should think about EB-5? I mean, some people still see it as just, a visa for sale.
Yeah, the golden visa tag.
Yeah. How do these figures challenge that? Or do they?
I think they fundamentally challenge that narrow view. These numbers show EB-5 acting as a serious economic development tool.
Yeah.
It's channeling private capital into communities, creating jobs, boosting local economies, often in areas specifically targeted for development.
So it's not just about immigration.
Not at all. It's a symbiotic thing, Investment fuels growth. Growth creates opportunity, both for the investor and for the community receiving the funds. It highlights a really powerful connection.
Okay, powerful connection indeed. Let's bring it right up to the present with our last headline, the September 2025 Visa Bulletin.
Always important to watch the Visa Bulletin.
Absolutely. What's the key takeaway from this latest one for EB-5 folks?
The main thing is the status of the different categories. For the EB-5 reserve categories.
Those are rural, high unemployment, and infrastructure projects.
Correct. For those categories, the bulletin shows current status for all countries.
Current, meaning no visa backlog.
Exactly. No backlog, no waiting list based on your country of birth. This is a huge contrast to the unreserved category.
Okay, what about unreserved?
For unreserved, major countries like India and China are still facing significant backlogs. Their dates are not current, meaning long waits.
So the advantage is clearly in those reserved categories right now, especially for someone from India, say.
Immense advantage. For an Indian investor choosing a reserved project, current status means no visa wait time. It means faster processing overall.
And didn't you mention something about filing applications together?
Yes. Critically, it allows for concurrent filing. This means they can submit their I-526E immigrant petition at the same time as their I-485 application to adjust status to conditional permanent resident, assuming they're already legally in the U.S.
Okay, concurrent filing. Why is that such a big deal?
It dramatically speeds things up. Instead of waiting for the I-526E approval first, which can take time, they get processed together.
So let's make this concrete for someone listening. Say an Indian tech worker on an H-1B visa here in the U.S.
Okay.
If they invest in a reserved project, like that Archer Place example, in September 2025, what does that look like timeline-wise?
So they could file the I-526E and the I-485 concurrently. Pretty quickly after filing, usually within a few months, they could get their employment authorization document, their EAD, and also travel permission, the advance parole.
So they can work freely and travel international?
Correct. Big relief for many H-1B holders. And then the conditional green card itself could potentially be approved in, say, roughly 24 to 30 months from filing.
Wow. Okay. That's way faster than the years and years of waiting in the unreserved categories for India, right?
An enormous difference. It really is a genuine fast track.
So the advice seems pretty clear then.
Yeah, the advice is straightforward. This fast track through the reserved categories is open now, but the fiscal year ends September 30th.
The clock is ticking.
Exactly. Yeah. Visa availability could change when the new fiscal year starts October 1st. We don't know for sure, but there's always that possibility. So acting before then is definitely something to seriously consider.
So for anyone thinking about EB-5, especially from a backlogged country like India, this timing is really crucial. Acting now could literally save years on their green card journey.
Potentially, yes. It's a window of opportunity that's currently wide open.
Okay, we've covered a lot today. Let's quickly recap the big takeaways from this deep dive.
Sounds good.
We talked about the sustainment period. The legal side is still getting clarified, pushing towards more formal rules.
Right, the NPRM coming in November.
Then the really positive news. Those record-high 94% I-829 approval rates, signaling much better safety and predictability in the program.
A big confidence booster.
We also looked at EB-5's huge economic impact, that $184 billion contribution, 1.7 million jobs, showing it's a real economic driver.
More than just visas.
Definitely. And finally, the latest Visa Bulletin confirming the fast track is still open for those reserved categories, especially important for Indian investors right now.
A critical window.
We really wanted this deep dive to help you quickly get your head around the key points, the important nuances of all these updates.
Hopefully giving you those aha moments so you feel genuinely up to speed on where EB-5 stands today.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. When you put it all together, you see this massive economic impact EB-5 can have, combined with these shifting and sometimes accelerating immigration pathways. What does that really tell us? What does it suggest about the future, about how global money and, well, people moving across borders, how that combination shapes local economies? How might these trends keep evolving? What new opportunities or maybe challenges could pop up for individuals and communities as this relationship deepens?
That's a great question to ponder. And if exploring EB-5 opportunities like Archer Place we mentioned is something you're considering, you can certainly find more information. Visiting BII Capital for a free consultation is one option.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us on the deep dive today.
Thanks for having me.